Um, Sound of Freedom,
Yeah.
starring
Jim
Jim
Caviezel.
Caviezel.
E-
Now, freaking, this is a controversial movie, and
Mhm.
no one saw that coming. No one
Yeah.
saw
I don't
this
know why.
controversy coming.
Yeah.
Right? So, what are your thoughts first before we get into the controversy around this?
So first, I haven't seen the movie yet.
None of us have.
I need to
No.
watch this movie. It's been on my list, but I just been busy and stuff.
So, I mean, there's so much stuff that's being said about it, and
It is
It-
currently
it-
like still in its theatrical run. It has apparently made $125 million.
That's really good.
which is good because
I mean, what was the budget for the movie?
Angel Studios.
I'll find out. Let me find the IMDb. Keep talking while I look for it.
It's just putting it back in the pocket of Angel Studios, so that's good.
Mhm.
It's crazy that like it's still so. This is several weeks after it came out. I mean, it came out in July 4th weekend, I think,
Mm.
and we're into August at this point, and it's people are still talking about it. People are still saying like
Mhm.
things are going on, which we got a few things we're going to talk about it, but I was hearing people talk about this. This is on YouTube. This has not been we don't have proof of this, but there was people that were watching on YouTube that went to go see it, and the theater sold them a ticket for the movie, and then played like Through the Spider-Verse. They weren't even playing the movie, and they had to get a refund, which that's all speculation. That's just word of mouth of what I'm
So
hearing.
there's conspiracy that they're shutting down.
They're just
no one
not
can watch
playing the
this movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's
So-
weird. That's interesting.
But Joseph had some proof of some article stuff that people are saying that's
Well, I
not
don't
just-
have proof of any conspiracy, but I do have
Mhm.
speculation from
more
articles
speculation
of why people are hating on this movie. First off, the budget was over 14 million. Opening weekend apparently blew that budget out of the water with
Oh, yeah.
almost 20
Wow.
million.
That's very impressive.
So at over 125, apparently IMDb says
Yeah.
136
They've
million.
made all that money.
Oh, they've
made so much money from that.
this kind of return on investment is what every studio wants and is their.
And
I wanted to say wet dream, but that would be vulgar.
I think that what a lot of people's issue is people who want to have an issue with the movie is that it's like, they're just making money off of this horrible situation. Yeah. I mean, yes, they're making a movie so that they can make money so that we can continue to
bring awareness,
make more things that people will see.
When have we ever
open up.
in culture had an awareness of protecting abused children as we do in July of 2023? Like, how in the past 200 years has there ever been a movement of protecting the children like
Right.
there has been this past month?
And I think a lot of anybody who says that anybody who turns their nose up to that notion of we need to keep kids safe, and protected from all manner of
Abuse.
and
And by the way,
evil
that
things
in my
this
mind,
world.
yes, in my mind, that includes exposing children to sexual content like
Yeah.
drag shows, right?
Yeah, I mean,
100%. That's
I think
abuse.
any kind of sexual content, for the most part, I don't think kids should. I don't think kids should watch, explicit movies either, TV
Nope.
shows.
100%.
And if you turn your nose up to that or to a movie where that's the message, then
I think it kind of makes you a bad
you're-
person.
Yeah, you're bordering. Yeah, you're bordering that line that crosses over into immorality.
Yes.
And just it's almost you can't comprehend. It's like, why would you even people with children even?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and
You wanna
dive
read
into
the
that.
article?
Why indeed? So First, this article says it's from today. All
Mm.
right. Sound of Freedom. Why this surprise box office hit causing controversy. All right. So it goes in a little bit to like explain the movie, what it's
Mhm.
about for people that don't already know. It's also
Mhm.
just fluff for these stupid articles. Everyone knows about this movie. So why Sound of Freedom is sparking controversy? So really, the first point they're making is some experts have challenged the factual accuracy of Sound of Freedom, saying it paints an inaccurate, sensationalized picture of child trafficking. The film portrays children being snatched and kidnapped by strangers. While this can certainly happen, okay, so they
Mhm.
already are admitting it happens and
Mhm.
are going to downplay that fact. It's a
Yeah.
myth that most traffickers target victims that they don't know. According to the Polaris, whatever,
Mhm.
an organization that operates in the U.S. National Human Trafficking Hotline. So apparently, they're saying that most trafficking happens by romantic partners, which that is also a issue, but that is
Yeah.
not the issue that this film is covering. This film is covering something that, while certainly happens, children trafficking, right?
Right.
That's what this film is about, and that's what
Mhm.
this movie's about.
That's the thing. Both things can be true.
Yes, it is
Mhm.
doesn't negate that
The
kids are
movie's not
being
the movie's not saying that the other thing's not true because it
right.
very very much is. Both things can be true.
Right. And both are bad. That
Mm.
does not mean we get to say this is factually inaccurate because
Yeah,
of
because it's not
I'm
portraying the other
sorry.
thing.
What does it show 2 million kids getting snatched up in a van? No, it probably shows 1 or 2 or 5 in the
Mm.
movie, right?
Mhm.
I would say those are probably accurate numbers.
And it's so if you were to use a different movie as an example of this, like what's the one with Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal?
Prisoners.
Prisoners. If
Prisoners.
you were to use that, if you were to after that movie, if you were to say,
Directed by
"Wow,
Denis Villeneuve, by the way,
kids getting kidnapped is very bad,"
right?
Mhm.
you come away from that movie thinking that it's like, yeah, it's a dangerous world to just let
Yeah.
your kids go out and play. If you've got that message from that movie and not from this movie, I mean,
And by the way, this is
it's kind
based
of
on a
hypocritical. It's the same stuff.
yeah, based on a real event, this movie, based
Mhm.
on based on a true story about this guy who's literally part of a a rescue group for
Mhm.
children. These are not
Yeah.
stories that are fictionalized. These are based on his actual
Yeah.
experiences. So they're basically saying like, "Oh, what this guy experienced, this whatever,
Mhm.
this study proves that his real world experience is inaccurate." Right?
That it's not that sensationalized. It's like I don't think that matters.
It doesn't
As long
matter.
as long as it's like watching Narcos, where it's like,
Yeah,
oh, they're sensationalizing all of
the cartel.
the cartel, the cops, everything. It's like, yeah, but it's
They bleep
based in
froze a little
reality.
bit.
It's based on uh some of it's based on some of the stuff that actually happened.
Right. It's foolishness. Let's go to another
Okay.
issue that I think is actually a bigger problem for all these people
Mhm.
that have an issue with this film. All right. Why are some people linking Sound of Freedom to QAnon?
Yeah, this was an interesting point that I was seeing people make about QAnon.
All
What?
right. So some critics of Sound of Freedom take issue that its popularity among supporters of QAnon as far-right conspiracy group that promotes the baseless claim that former President Trump is fighting a secret war against a network of Satanist child abusers in government, entertainment, and the media.
Yeah,
QAnon's theories proliferate on social media.
proliferate.
Proliferate. So
That's
basically, they're mad that they're mad. Look, this is liberal media, so they're mad that people of conservative values like this movie.
Yeah, I
and they're
feel like
calling it
that's the
QAnon.
underlying thing. I don't know much about QAnon.
They're mad that this ain't Barbie, yo.
Yeah, can we not can we not just have a movie that people enjoy that has a message that's positive? It's a positive message. I think no matter what side of the line you fall on, the movie isn't about, your politics. It's about protecting these children who are in
Hmm.
dangerous situations, and that we should protect them.
Mhm.
I don't care if I think most people, whether you be, no matter what side of the line you fall on, should agree with that message.
Yes, 100%. And this is also,
Everybody's got kids, or, family with kids, or
yes.
friends with kids.
Hmm.
Yes, this is not a political
Mm-mm.
statement. This isn't they're not even showing one side or the other. This is about saving kids. But
Yeah.
because people of
Making it
conservative
political.
values like it
Right.
and like the point of this message, this could be a movie that the whole, especially in America, that we could all rally around and be like, "Yes,
I
although
think
we
we
disagree
saw
so much, this is a message that's important
I
to us."
saw
But
I saw a few
apparently not.
I saw a few similar articles come out about, Top Gun: Maverick, where it was like, this
Silliness.
is clearly, a conservative,
Pro-war.
pro-war kind. It's like, no, it's just a movie. This is just a movie, that everybody can love and enjoy.
Yeah.
Uh, just because it so happens to be about the military and about these
Yes.
characters that everybody likes. Yeah, it's so weird that if conservatives like something,
It's all of
there's
a sudden QAnon likes
yeah,
it.
it's like QAnon. I don't
It's
know
like
why.
Capitol stormers like it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, you supported January 6th.
Right, right. If you like this movie, you're a Capitol stormer.
Oh.
Uh, so look, here's another thing. Sound of Freedom has a pay it forward scheme.
Ah.
Mm.
Now, I full disclosure, I have a bias. I've done the pay it forward scheme
Mhm.
for The Chosen. And I
Yeah.
have. I've participated. So what they're basically saying is that they have a pay it forward for this movie because this is what Angel Studios
Mm.
does. They're changing the industry. They're trying new things. They basically say at the end of the movie, "We want as many people to see this movie as possible. We're so glad you're here and you watched it. If you think this is a movie that deserves more attention,
Mm.
would you be willing to pay for someone's ticket? You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, that's not a scheme.
You don't have to. They call it a scheme. The reason why is because Angel Studios is getting success, and Disney and all these people that are trying to get, the big box office hits, they're relying on people's selfishness to watch a movie
Yeah.
to make their money, whereas they are tapping into people's goodness and saying, "Hey, do you think this is an important movie that people should see? Some people won't see it because of the ticket price. Would you be willing to buy someone's ticket?"
But we
Right?
had a similar issue with a lot of people on the internet, and I'm generalizing, that not a lot of people, some wackos on the
Mhm.
internet who were like, "You ought to pay for a black person's ticket to go watch the second Wakanda movie,
Right, because
or
that's
Black
necessary
Black
for life and
Panther movie." It's
godliness.
like, this isn't that a pay it forward scheme?
It is, but
Um,
that's a pay it forward scheme they're into, right?
right.
That's ridiculous.
You know, and honestly, I don't have a problem with that. If you feel like you want to uh pay for somebody's ticket for
Have a good movie night.
any
Yeah.
movie, for anybody, you
Go
should
for it.
be, and if that's for a cause, or if that's because you want the movie to make more money, then it's your discretion.
It's
What people do
Believe
with
it or
their
not,
money is at their own discretion.
right, believe it or
yeah.
not, we actually have been doing pay it forward schemes in different avenues. Gift cards to
Yeah.
movie theaters
Mhm.
are a
Yeah.
pay it forward scheme,
Right.
which I
And
got
the
one. I
movie
watched I watched Oppenheimer. No, I watched Mission Impossible 2 with a pay it forward gift card scheme.
And the
Yeah.
movie isn't necessarily the movie's not necessarily asking you to donate to this cause. They're just don't asking you to donate to the movie so that it can make money so that they can donate to the cause.
Right.
If you like the movie. And if you don't, then you just bought a movie ticket,
Right,
right?
and you just watched a movie or you
I
bought
don't
someone a
know. We
ticket.
we have so many messages out in the world, protect trees,
Right.
stop big oil, protect, animals, and, protect people's rights. I,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with,
Alright.
paying
You're
for
you're
protecting
right.
kids.
It's really because these studios like DC with The Flash, like
Mm,
Disney with, The Dial of Destiny, all of these failing movies that are in theaters right now are like, why is Sound of Freedom making so much money? We spent $200 million to make this movie. They only spent
mhm,
14 and they're making more money than us. So they're upset and they start doing things like, oh, well, oh, okay. So they're asking people to buy two tickets. So they're just freaking scheming people, and that's how they make more money. That's their
mhm.
explanation. That's not good enough. They're
That's not
it
good enough.
That's not good enough. Now, there's another one that's not included in this article, and I did do fact check. So last night, and the fact check, I didn't do the research and call it fact check. There's like
Yeah.
factcheck.com or whatever. I don't know. They do full articles based on popular controversies or popular statements that are
Mhm.
made. So, did Disney, in fact, own the rights to this movie back in 2017,
Uh-huh.
2018,
And
shut
then
it down and said they don't want to release this movie? And the Angel Studios basically waited, or some people waited until the rights became available for purchase and then grabbed it back from Disney.
Yeah.
So, and it came back, yes, this is true. So basically, what happened is 20th Century Fox owned the rights to this movie. They're making the movie. All right.
mhm.
Disney buys a big chunk of 20th Century Fox. We all remember that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, that include the rights to this movie. Disney
Ah,
has the rights. They have the plans.
and they're sitting
I
on it.
And they didn't just sit on it. They said, "We will not release this movie."
Mhm.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Why?" 20th Century was about to release it. And they're like, "We're not gonna." So they sat on it for how many years? 5 years. And then
Until
now,
their contract ended, and
till their
then
contract for the rights for this ended, and then Angel
yeah.
Studios, and they had like an inside guy who's been monitoring the rights to this story, working with the guy that this is about. I can't ever remember his name,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
thought I
but
thought the guy
it,
that
they've been
this
just waiting
gentleman that
for
it's
the rights
about,
to
I
right.
thought he went to Angel Studios and said, "Hey, the rights are about to end for this. Do you
Well, it's
want?"
someone who's been working with him, who's been keeping up with kind of like the legality stuff of
Mhm.
this story, because this is like the unsung injustice for the past 5 years that no one has known about, because no one knew if it would ever get released. And then as soon as Angel Studios uh, grabs it up, it's out in less than a year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
So,
interesting. Anybody who creates a movie like this, I mean, obviously, you're probably not watching this video, but if you are, I think the lesson here is don't give this to a big studio like
It's
20
no.
like 20th Century or Disney or Universal or HBO. They don't care.
it's
Mhm.
That's the thing.
interesting
They
though.
they don't care. They only care about money.
Right.